Good morning. Good morning, Lizzie Nation. Thank you very much for attending today's episode on Tea with Lizzie. We really appreciate you being here with us. We really appreciate you being here with the support that you have given to us, the support that you have shown to us. We are very appreciative of that. Let us remember the call of government when government always and all the time encourages us to stay at home. We must make sure that we are safe, we are alone together. We must make sure that whatever we do is in line with the government regulation, in line with the design that was done by the National Coronavirus Command Council in order for us to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. So thank you very much. Thank you for attending our Facebook Live today, our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. Although we want to critically emphasize that we've been encouraging all the people that are following us on Facebook Live to please come and be with us on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that we can be able to give you a lot of information as well, so that you can be able as well to go further and listen to the videos that we are doing. And then you can download them as well in order for you to get the resourceful information or the valuable information that you want as well in that case. So thank you very much for attending from all platforms. We really appreciate your support, the time you spent with us, waking up in the morning. It simply means that you are encouraged, you are getting the value out of these programs that we are doing, out of these Facebook's live that we are conducting on a daily basis, especially during the weekdays. We've got other programs that we are running as well, but we'll elaborate on that. We had Lunch with Lizzo, which we have changed the schedule of it. We'll do it on a we'll do it consecutively. If next week we are doing it on Monday, the other week we'll do it on Wednesday, the other week we'll do it on Friday. So this is how the program will run. And then we've got our Cocktails with Lizzo, where we discuss with the executives. That will be done on a bi-weekly basis. And then we have another program, which is Dinner with Lizzo, which we'll do on Saturday evening from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then we have another program, Night Time with Lizzo, that we'll do on the weekends, that is on a Friday and a Sunday from noon. That is 00 a.m. to 2 a.m. as well. But we'll elaborate and give you the further schedule. We'll share the schedule with you on our other programs. So we've just put those on hold for the time being, but we are still busy with the planning of that. So we thank everyone that is joining our program. We thank everyone that is being with us, and we will never leave the gratitude behind, because we are very thankful for what you have done for you empowering us. So we took a bait, and then it worked. And then this bait that we took, it worked to our advantage. So that is the topic that we'll be discussing today, how I took a bait. But remember, I always say, even when I do the live show, when I do the workshops, when I do the seminars, when I do the webinars, even now during this hard time, we have to do webinars, we have to do Zoomation, we have to do Jujutsu. I always say it's not about me, it's about what you take from this and then you apply it to yourself. And then is it working? If it's working, you must pursue it and then make sure that you sustain, it becomes consistent, it becomes sustainable as well. So that is what we want. We want you out of this, you get value so that you can implement in your respective adventures, in your respective businesses. So with that being said, I'm Lizzie Mkunebe, and I help as the engineering executive to make sure that they realize the productivity that they can have once they use the following people, processes, and systems. They synchronize them at 33.3% in order for them to get their return on investment. So that is what we are doing. That is where we are. We help people to get their return on investment by making sure that they understand the life cycle of business that they are running, the life cycle of an operations that they are looking after, a process or an equipment that they are the asset managers of, or they are looking after small enterprise, they are looking after a NPO, non-profit organization like your chamber of business, or it's either your foundation as well. So we're looking at all those aspects to help people to make sure that they get their return on investment. So with that being said, let us do the government message of today, which is the COVID-19, in line with COVID-19 pandemic, which is we must always stay at home. Let us be alone together so that we cut the spread of the COVID-19. We know we are on the rise of the COVID-19 pandemic, so we need to adhere to the condition and the regulation that government has put in forward. So let us abide by that. With that in mind, we must remember what the General Secretary of the World Health Organization said yesterday. Africa is now the concentration of the COVID-19 pandemic. The cases in Africa are increasing, and they are increasing at a tremendous amount. So we need to adhere to the social distancing protocol. We need to adhere to the when we go to public, we must always be wearing our mask. That is very critical. We need to do all of those things that are put in your OSH Act condition, where especially for the guys that have went to the workplace, they must be exercised, and the practicality of them must be seen in all the work areas. The practicality of it must be seen in all the schools. The practicality of that must be seen in all the clinics where there's a social distancing, in all the banks where there's a hand sanitizer. Someone before they use the ATM, they must be sanitized. Someone before they enter a retail shop, they must be sanitized to make sure, and then temperature measured to make sure that they are making sure that they are killing the spread of the COVID-19. And then if someone temperature is above a certain degrees, they must not be allowed into that retail shop, into that schoolyard. If they do not have a mask, they must not be allowed into that schoolyard. They must not be allowed into that retail shop as well. So it's a mandatory requirement for us when we visit places where there will be gathering or where there will be people. We must always make sure that we are wearing our masks at all the times. So thank you very much. And then the other thing that we need to do is when we wash our hands, we must wash our hands at least for 20 seconds with water and soap or an alcohol-based sanitizer. We must always, when we cough, we must cough into our elbow or a tissue. And then we must always make sure that we listen to reliable news sources and then avoid crowded areas, and let us by all times not listen to fake news. And then when we have a sore throat or a cough, we must seek medical profession. But before we do that, we must call them as well. Thank you very much for listening to that government message, which was brought to you by the coronavirus, WHO. Everyone, every organization is practicing the same message. So we're saying we must spread the word, we must spread the message as well, so that you get it as well in that regard. So that is operating like our small talks or our small toolbox talks as well in all our shows. That is what we are doing because we are faced with the pandemic. So if you look at the Dr. Tedros as well from the WHO, which is the General Secretary, was concerned that we are bypassing as Africa, we are bypassing North America, we are bypassing Asia, we are bypassing Europe, we are bypassing not US, but yeah, North America, and then the Asia, and then Europe. We seems to be garnering the statistics in line with that. So let us adhere to the rules and conditions as well. So thank you very much in that regard. So our today's topic is, if you have ever went fishing, you know what we mean. How did you take a bait? So taking a bait is if someone rises to the definition of the bait. So it means if you take the bait, you react to something that someone has said or done exactly what that someone has said as well. So that is the definition as per dictionary. So what does the bait mean? So it means you react to something that someone has said or done exactly as they intended you to do. The expression rise to the bait is also used mainly in British English. when someone attempts to make you feel guilty, don't take the bait. Their behavior may seem insulting, but it's important not to rise to the bait and get cross. So it's a definition of someone that lured you to do something that is not right, and then you have taken that bait as well, and then you know what happens. So to be lured by an offer or flattery or a provocation into doing something, especially something disadvantageous or dubious. So to nibble at a bait or a fish on a hook. So you're going on fishing, you have this thing that is done, that is put in there, and then to attract you. It's an offer. There's food, in your lane. When you throw in your lane in there, you put in a worm in there, and then it seems like it moves, and then that is luring. So that person is luring you to that offer, and then you are going there, but this is dubious to you. It is something that is just a disguise, and then you go there and then you bite it, and then that's it. So how do you take a bait? It is important that when you take a bait, you know exactly what is it that you are looking at getting. We've been duped by people in the previously to say we must do some other things. Then when we do these things, we'll be able to get what we want, or we'll be able to get the returns. But easy come, easy goes. So do not be lured by saying you must invest something, and then out of that you get so much amount out of that. It is not right. So, but for me, I took a bait, and this bait that I took, it's a bait that is working. It's a bait that makes me work very hard, that makes me wake up every morning and then work hard in order for me to be here, to be presenting this to you. It's a bait that has worked. It's a recipe that has worked. Although it is not going to work today. I have to nurture it. I have to water it in order for it to grow. So when I started doing Facebook Live, I did Facebook Live based on the encouragement from Tea with Gary V. And then all my programs are based on that. So it's not a bait. It is something that I wanted to do. I've wanted to do a podcast. It's been something that I was procrastinating about. But when Gary V mentioned that, he was encouraging one of the entrepreneurs and said, start something like Tea with your name. And then I decided I will start Tea with Lizo, and then I will start other programs as well in order for me to give value. Because what is important is giving value. You give value day in and day out to become consistent on that. And then you are improving as well. You've got self-confidence. You are building all those up in line with what you are doing. So that is what I've been doing for the past now 94 days. That is what I've been being able to bring to you in order for us to be in line, in order for us to have the right information in line with the pandemic that we are facing, in line with other programs that we are facing. So this takes the frustration out of you. So that is the bait that I had to take. But the nice thing is, you have to have a structured plan in order for you to come live on Facebook. You have to have a structured plan. So with Gary V, the nice thing is he's got a team that is supporting him. So for us, what happens?
It's 5 hours.
We're starting to work from home. We do not have those teams. So we have to have self-discipline. In order for me to come here live, I had to have self-discipline. Self-discipline means I must make sure that I wake up the right time in order for me to be able to come and bring this live. I have to work around what I'm doing, because previously I use OBS, Streamlabs, I use StreamYard. I use a lot of software to come in till I get to ManyCam, where ManyCam is the one that is giving me the comfort. So I had tested other programs. I've come live on my cell phone. I've come live and I was cut short as well because of the connectivity problem. So there's a whole lot of things that comes, and then you adjust to that. So that is what I've been doing. I've moved from a projector. My background previously was a projector screen, where I had job back in the morning. So you see, there's a lot of work that goes behind. Uh, I had a I had the issues with internet connectivity during some of the shows. I had the banners behind me. I shifted during our lunch with Lizzo. I had a board where I will write the whole scene in order for me to do the brainstorming, and I'll seek advice from other people as well. I'll invite people in terms of my podcasting to come and then have a podcast discussion. So I'll have the planning that is done. But what I don't do, I still say, this is coming fresh. It's not prepared. It's something that I prepare, or something that it's a discussion that I decide 5 minutes before I come live, and then we discuss on it as well. So I do not prepare what I'm going to bring to you. So till I have a program that says on Monday I'll be discussing certain topics, on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday is personally about me. What is my journey? How have I been able to make it so far? So those are the things that you need to look at as well. And I have been able, because I'm doing this from home. Team Fleas where is working. I'm working from home. I've been able to sensitize my family members to say, during this time, can you please bear with me? I'm doing tea with Lizwe. I'm doing lunch with Lizwe. Can we please, the level of noise, can it be lowered? We've even decided that we are going to put a door here so that we have a soundproof or a home office. So that is the plan that is have been built up by the COVID-19. Working at home now has become a comfort zone. I have, if you can see behind me here, I have a boardroom table there where when I have visitors, but we have not yet started having visitors because we need to start doing the issues of social distancing. When I have visitors, it depends on the province where I am, whether do I have to have parking outside for them to come in and visit me. But I think that will be looked at next year, not now. So we are in the early start this year. So thank you very much. So I took a bait and then it is working. A bait does not mean it's something that you just put a little money and then it generates. No, it's something that we have to work very hard in order for you to be able to get the value. I'm getting value. I'm getting self-confidence. I've been doing webinars here with other workshop organizers. I've gotten invites from other workshop organizers to say, can you speak in our webinars? So I've got a lot of invitation from this. So the paid is working, and then I'm getting resourceful as well. And then this works as well to my advantage, and then it aligns me to my niche market. And then I've already discussed my niche market. My niche market is the executives. So the people that wants to make decisions in order for them to get their return on investment. They want to know, if I empower my staff members, how am I going to get my return on investment? So those are the issues that we address, especially when we are dealing with your equipment life cycle or your business life cycle or your business in general. Every business model that we can work with, we will be able to help you with that as well in this regard. So those are the things that we are touching on. Although I must say, the basic thing that the president has been talking about in terms of how they are able to lower alert level of the lockdown from 5 to 1, the risk-based inspection or the risk-based approach. We've not touched on it a lot, but I think it is better if we do that as a webinar where we'll invite everyone to have a free download of that in order for them to go. We've done the business continuity plan. How do you now introduce your businesses to an economic emancipation or participation in order for them to start making the economy or participate in the economic structure as well. So those are the things that it is better if we do them as a form of a webinar, where it will be a free webinar, and then we're just taking everyone through, or everyone that is interested in the information can just be linked to a website where they can be able to download all of those. So those are the things that you need to do. You must take a bait that works. You must be that selfish fish in the waters that will not only go for the bait that is not going to work for them. It must the bait that you are taking, it must have a triple effect in terms of your growth as well. So be that selfish fish. Be that fish that is always full. You are not loading by food because of your empty stomach, because you are promised heaven and earth. Let us not, because as I said, the cyber crimes, we can go all over the internet. There will be cyber crime that happens sometimes. So you need to always be protected. You need to always uh, be aware of what is happening online. We had friends that were their accounts were hacked into where people were wanted to use their information, or they portrayed themselves as these friends of mine, and then they were luring people to deposit some money into their to e-wallet some money into their cell phone numbers. So there's a whole lot of things that can happen. So you need to know what you stand for. You need to know your integrity. You need to be that selfish fish that would say, if this is happening not in my name, if there's a bait that is put there, I'm only going to take that bait if it is going to benefit me, or if it is going to have a triple effect on what I'm doing, and then it will have a return on investment on me for the next coming 5 years. So that is what we are doing. So you see, with COVID-19, I always say fourth industrial revolution has been brought forward 10 years. So we are now in the fourth industrial era that is supposed to start in 2030, but it is now brought forward by 10 years. The full 10 years it has been brought forward. So we need to have a technological know-how in terms of what we are doing. We need to have the advancement in terms of the technology. So COVID-19 has made the playing field level. So we are all equal. The Americans will not say they are the first world country. We are also the first world country because we are using technology as them. We are using Zoom. We are using Facebook Live as them. We are using all platforms as them now because of COVID-19. So when you look at the positive side, we are very thankful for COVID-19 because it has brought technology fast forwarded to us so that we become the first world countries as well. Yes, in terms of the dollar, the rate of the dollar, the way the dollar is so powerful, yes, they can be, but in terms of technological skills and the know-how, we are all in our first world country. COVID-19, we thank you for doing that because we are all equal. Can be able to discuss with someone from the US now without any delay in terms of the speed, any delay in terms of what I'm sharing. They will get it immediately. Within even here, we are forward 6 hours, so we are far than them as well in terms of the technological, because I think they're still sleeping now. Yeah, it's I think right now, yeah, it's 12. 9 past 12 noon in the yeah. So we are all equal. So the bait that you take, you must be a selfish fish, selfish one. If you are a whale, you must be that selfish whale. If you are a shark, you must be that selfish shark. Do not take any bait. Take a bait that is going, and then it must have the proof in the pudding. So when someone like Gary Vee tells you that he has done since 2007 to 2011, he's been commenting on what he was doing. He was advertising his father's wines, and then commenting on every tweet, on every LinkedIn, and then advising people, writing emails in terms of the wine that they are having, comparing it with other wines. And it took him 5 years in order for him to break through. So the return on investment in terms of the wine selling for his father's business took 5 years. So it does not mean if we are starting tea with Liz on Facebook Live, we are going to get a return on investment. It depends on the consistency. It depends on the value that we are giving. Are we giving free value? Are we there to make money? Money is going to be made, but it takes time. It takes you time. That is why I say, when you are a young graduate, you can be lured by these things where people are promising you that when you cross the fence, the grass is greener on the other side. And then when you get there, there's nothing like that. So you always need to make sure that what you go for or what you garner for experience. And then once you've garnered for your experience, I'm telling you, you'll be an expert in terms of your discipline. You'll be able to tell people, this is how we do this thing, this is what we do. And you can monetize your experience and then your technical know-how, your hands-on experience, so that you are not be lured to deals that are not going to make it feasible for you, that are going to stress you further. So you do not want that as a young graduate or as an engineer. You need not be lured by offers that seems very, very, very huge. And then when you go there, you find that you have to work more hours, you become stressful in the work or in the job, you start hating engineering, you start hating your company, you start hating your boss. You must do something that you love. In order for you to do that, you can only do that once you do what you love, you do it passionately, and then you have a roadmap to say, my goal is to garner the experience. The first 6 years or the first 5 years, I need to garner experience, especially hands-on design, and then your supply chain or dealing with clients. That will be your first objective, and then from that, if you get to a company where they only streamline, they're only doing one discipline and you only want three, you have to look for another company. You are not job hopping. You tell them straight in the eyes, I'm here to get experience in terms of design. I'm here to get experience in terms of the hands-on. I'm here to get experience in terms of interacting with clients or supply chain management or working on tenders, knowing the law of contracts, because the law of contracts, you only get them when you do your request for quotation, your request for proposal as well, or when you're taking out a tender out for tender. So those are the things that you're looking at. Do not be lured by expensive money. You'll be flying to countries. You'll be the project manager. You are only 6 months into the industry. They tell you that you become the project manager. You've been there. We've had the stress that was in the environment as well. So do it according to the extra requirements in order for you to qualify as a professional engineer as well. Do not be lured. Do not take that bait, because that bait of huge money, yes, we want to get there, but it is easier when you get there. And then when you speak with authority, you speak with accountability. You know what you're talking about. You are paid by what you deliver. You are not paid by what you can do. You're paid by what you say, and then people trust what you do as well. So your integrity comes first. So let's not fall into the traps of PRASA. Let us not fall into the traps of VBS. Let us not fall into the traps of KPMG as professionals. Let us make sure that our integrity at all times is put forward. It's in the front. So thank you very much for attending our today's show. We think you'll be taking the bait as well. We've given you the background in terms of what goes behind the scene in order for us to come live. How did we take the bait? If you look at Gary Vee, he's got a tremendous team. But you can do it even if you are a one-man team, even if you are a two-man team, even if you are a part-time team member. You can do it. You can come on Facebook Live. And then you just make sure that you're consistent. You just make sure that your market reaches, or your message reaches your niche market. That is very important. It is very important and imperative. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let us abide by the government regulation during this coronavirus pandemic. Let us make sure that we stay home, we stay safe, and then we exercise social distancing until we see each other tomorrow again on Tea with Lizwe. From me, engineer, entrepreneur, and a speaker and a podcaster, Lizwe Mknebe, I'm signing off, and I want to help you as an executive to be successful in making sure that you get your return on investment by prioritizing your people, your processes, and systems Thank you very much. Until we see each other tomorrow again. God bless.